Ladies and gentlemen, court is back in session. Welcome to another exciting episode of Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. With me, as always, is the man who this past weekend I had to slice open a tauntaun and shove him in there so he would survive, Mr. Drew Celestino.
Was it that cold?
It was chilly.
Okay. Yeah. They smell better on the outside.
Have you ever wondered what the smell is? Like, they never give like a description of it.
I guess I kind of always imagine it being something like an elephant or a cow pasture of some kind. Something real funky.
Yeah, but cold air usually kind of
doesn't stink.
Kills odor. So they must really smell bad.
And that's before you slice them open.
Yeah.
And climb inside.
Alrighty. Here we are, back again. After Mother Nature was getting ready to leave the house and then went, oh crap, I forgot about winter. And then 40 days of winter all at once.
Yeah.
All for us.
It wasn't even that bad, but it was bad enough. It was like just, it didn't stop for like 2-3 days. It was nonstop.
It was really bad at our place. Like, it was a Wednesday. I woke up, I couldn't see across the street.
Hey.
So this was one of the rare occasions that the area I live in got it worse than most other areas.
The South towns?
No, I don't live in the South towns.
No, I know. I'm saying you got it worse than the South towns. The South towns. That's where,
middle of August, they're under like a winter storm advisory.
Yeah. Don't move for the South towns.
I don't. If you live in the South towns and you listen to the show, thank you.
Yeah.
But I don't, and I apologize, but I don't understand why someone want to live in the South towns. They're so far removed from anything that makes Buffalo cool, and you get nothing but snow all the time. Like all the snow that people think we get, the South towns actually do get.
Yeah.
So
not my style. I'm more of a North Towns boy.
We record on Tuesdays, as we've mentioned in the past, and Tuesday afternoon is kind of... We had continuous snow from Tuesday afternoon to Wednesday afternoon.
It kind of started Monday night, to be honest. And
but it wasn't it wasn't anything that would prevent anything from happening.
It just didn't stop.
Yeah, and it really kicked up Tuesday overnight into Wednesday morning.
Did you miss any work?
Work was not closed, but I called in.
Okay.
Not normally, and people who know me are probably shocked at this because I pride myself on being able to drive through anything. Like I will. It doesn't matter if it's got wheels. I can get it there in whatever weather condition you have.
Would you say?
But
I can fly. I'm pilot.
I'll fly. I'll pilot. I'll drive through anything. Get there in 12 parsecs. But the problem is now when you have a kid.
Yeah.
And you have to take that kid to the person who's going to be watching him for the day. Like I was supposed to take William to my mother's.
Sure.
It was her turn to watch him that day. It just like I went outside and everything that I had cleared with my snowblower that I got to use, I was so happy about using. Everything I had cleared had refilled up to my knees.
Yeah.
And
you wonder why you bothered.
Our street was up to like the middle of my shins. Our street didn't get touched by plows until Wednesday night. And I was like, you know what? It's nothing but side streets from here to my mother's house, and none of them have been touched.
Good luck.
And one of the side streets runs parallel to the river. And I was like, you know what? Something happens, I make a mistake. I don't have a lot of space between me and the river.
Yeah.
So I called into work and stayed home with the boy.
That's good.
We had a nice little day. Was your work closed?
No, sir. But I'm like right around the corner from my new office, so I made it in. It was fine. Not ideal, but it was fine.
Yeah,
I would have preferred to be off, but it's okay.
Yeah, it was a day. So unfortunately, dear listeners, that event did prevent us from recording last week. I did post a picture of my back deck, which was very snowed in. So yeah.
But we're back.
We appreciate the couple messages we got and saying, hey, where's the episode?
Yeah.
The episode? Like, sorry. Pay attention to the Facebook feed. It's kind of like checking for school closings.
Twitter, Facebook, all these things.
I didn't post on Twitter.
Well, whose fault is that?
That's my fault.
Okay.
I'll take that. So that being said, how was your 2 weeks?
It's been good, man. Just
2 weeks.
Yeah, getting settled into the new job, which is going well. And some other, wheels are in motion. Things are happening.
New stuff has come to light.
It's not imminent, but there's a new Long Cold Dark show has come onto the calendar in July. Ooh. So I'll share some info about that as we get closer to it. It'd be really cool if people could make it out to it, because it does feature an out of town band that I'm buddies with from Brooklyn, New York, and the more we can support them, the more they can support us. Other than that, dude, it's just been kind of kooky, kind of crazy with the weather, and this past weekend was like insanity with children's birthdays. So I'm not even kidding, dude. I had 3 children's birthday parties over the weekend. So on Saturday, I had my good friend Nathan's daughter Esther's 2nd birthday.
Okay.
After that, immediately I went to my cousin's daughter's 5th birthday, and then Sunday was William's birthday.
Yes.
So like kid parties all weekend, man.
All the kid parties.
All the kid parties, and I wasn't drunk at any of them. It's amazing.
Well, it's a kid party.
Yeah, but there's always one drunk uncle, and it wasn't me. So
did you bring the Switch to all the parties?
Just to yours, sir.
Oh,
I figured your crowd would appreciate it, which they did. So it worked out nicely. That's it, dude. Honestly, that's all I've been doing. Is playing Zelda. That's really it. I've been playing Zelda for 2 straight weeks.
You've been playing Zelda. How much have you played Zelda?
Dude, I have over 50 hours logged.
Yes, and how much of that has been main quest? Like,
not much. Oh my god, dude! I have like 60% of the map to go to unlock still, and like I'm in no hurry.
Yeah,
I'm just cruising along.
Yep,
looking at stuff.
Yeah.
Every time I get on a little quest, like, but look over there. I'm gonna go over, and then I go over there and
look. It's an elf, and he's doing stuff.
And every time I go, man, I find something. Something cool happens.
Nice.
People are finding cool little tricks to, like, I don't want to say hack the game, but, like, basically Nintendo made, like, this amazing physics sandbox and just said, like, here.
Yeah.
Do what you want. Someone made an airship. They figured out that if you put enough Octorok balloons on a raft, it'll float, and you can fly it around.
Like, more than just up and down?
Yeah, because it still has a sail, and you can, if you have a leaf, but you can push the sail with your leaf.
Oh, cool.
You can create wind. You can blow around, fly around the map.
To land it, I'm assuming you have to pop the balloons.
I would
gradually.
think, yeah.
All right,
but still,
cool. Yeah, no, that's cool.
Who thought of that?
That is cool.
Someone thought of that at Nintendo and said, "You know what? We're going to figure out a way to let them do that."
So we had a couple game nights in that 2-week span.
Yeah.
You and Jen finally got to try out City of Iron.
Yes.
Which is my current favorite
it was good.
game.
Yeah.
You enjoyed it?
I did enjoy it. We should play it again. Go faster.
Yeah. Lot to learn, especially with the game where you have to plan ahead.
It wasn't quite as bad as you made it sound when you were selling it initially.
Okay.
Once we got into it, it was fine.
All right, yeah. But yeah, that's a current favorite of mine.
Cool.
Although I am toying with the idea of getting into the X-Wing.
So you mentioned
miniatures game. But I'm not getting into it to, like, just buy one side of ships and go tournaments and whatnot. I'm getting into it so, like, we can all play it. Just like
I'm sure everyone that gets into it gets in with the best of intentions. Next thing you know, you're buried in little toy figures. And
worst case scenarios, if I get into it, worst case scenario, I have some really cool display pieces for my desk at work.
Sure.
Because those are nice.
They are.
Miniatures.
They are.
Really
Certainly.
detailed. So yeah, that was it for...
Honestly, I guess we can get into... we'll save it for post... I don't know when you want to get into this. I saw Logan. So...
Yeah, no, I think our official review section is just going to be our first impressions of Iron Fist, so you can go ahead with
my little Logan take?
Your little Logan take.
All right.
Just to preamble that...
spoiler alert, everybody.
Quick cliff notes of my Logan take. Good, not the movie everyone's building it up to be. Unnecessarily rated R, and very dependent as I always say, my chief complaint about the film is that it is very dependent on you having seen the previous X-Men films, but there is no payoff for you having seen the previous X-Men films. So that being said, sir, go ahead.
I don't really dispute.
I
snicked. I really don't dispute any of that. What you just said. I think it's a good movie. I really do think it's a good movie, and it has a lot of heart in it. Good performances in it, but yeah, it's all predicated on you knowing who these people are, because they don't really go out of their way to explain to you who they are or why.
Not new viewer friendly at all.
No.
Now, granted, this should not be your first X-Men film.
No. I mean,
still,
but like, you know what? You know how I think about it. Like when these kind of movies come up that are like pop, once they kind of reach like pop culture relevance, which is a weird. They are pop culture, but you know what I mean? Like.
When they leave a footprint.
When they have a certain degree of pedigree, let's say.
Yeah.
My parents, for instance, would we have to go see that because they've heard through their cultural
that seems to be
osmosis.
the high watermark is when your parents say to you, hey, do you know about this?
Right. Like The Dark Knight had that.
Yeah.
The Avengers, to a degree, had that. The last Planet of the Apes movie had that. They heard about it, and I said, yeah, go. It's great. So I feel like this is that kind of movie that like reaches that parent zenith. But dude, if your parents go see this, they're going to be like, I don't know what the hell just happened. I have no idea who this guy is and why he's got claws and why he's dying and who's this old guy. And anyway, so yeah, that's a good point. I ultimately feel
I think fathers of a certain age, minus the, and when I say a certain age, I mean like what my father would have been mid to late 60s. I'm not sure how old your father is. Fathers who grew up with Westerns in their heyday,
they might get a little more.
Would appreciate it more without having that back knowledge, so to speak.
I still think the movie relies on it, though.
No, I believe it does, but like I think that generation of dude, because they grew up, because the movie is essentially a road trip Western homage.
More or less, yeah. And not to mention the father thing is very apt, because that's actually, the whole fatherhood theme is prevalent in the movie. Again,
I think we're far enough out that if you want to give spoilers, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so I guess my ultimate, this is all, I'm just going to start rapid firing my big takeaway. My big takeaway essentially is it's a well-made movie. It's a good movie. It's enjoyable, but yeah, the R rating is kind of tacked on. There, they gored it up for the sake of goring it up. They really didn't have to, but they did, I guess, so the fanboys could go, "Oh, you see the claws in the head." Yeah, great, okay. And he's just muttering the F-bomb through the whole movie for no real purpose, just because he can. All right. I mean, does it add anything? Did the scene of the girl flashing him in the limo add anything?
Nope.
No, not really. So, okay, whatever. Deadpool hit at the box office. Everything's got to be R-rated now. Okay, great. You made it into a marketing decision. Good for you. As a send-off, spoilers, for Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart, I think this movie is not good.
Yeah, especially for Patrick Stewart.
These are characters.
At least Logan goes out in a blaze of glory.
Kind of.
I mean,
yeah,
ultimately we learned that Logan is a vampire because to kill him, you simply have to shove a wooden stake through his heart.
Well, the healing factor is diminished, and he's really jacked up. Okay. No, I just feel like these are characters who have saved the world countless times over. Like they've hit the highest of highs, and Professor X gets punked in some farmhouse bedroom.
Yep,
dead. Oh, okay.
By a really bad Wolverine clone.
Yeah, evil Wolverine clone. Okay, and then Wolverine, not for nothing. Yeah, he dies saving the kids, and that's admirable, but it's such a small thing.
Yeah,
and that's how he dies. And then, not for nothing, but we get no closure on what happens to the kids then. They go to Canada and live happily ever after? That's it?
I suspect they will use this as a setup for New Mutants, which is a film they've talked about doing.
All right, well...
But again, I mean, like...
I don't know,
I get what you're saying.
It felt like, oh, really? That's how you're going to do it?
Yeah, we've discussed before that I'm a very easy cry when it comes to movies. And especially with like scenes involving fathers, because, I lost my father very unexpectedly. And it's still like, almost 6 years, coming up on 6 years later, it's still a very raw nerve for me.
Sure.
And you've got a scene where Logan is dying and X-23 is like, Daddy, don't die, don't die. And I am dry. I'm dry. I'm like, wow. If you were to show me this scene on paper,
yeah,
I would be like, oh, I'm going to be bawling at that scene.
Well, you know why? Because I just feel like the stakes weren't that. The stakes didn't feel that high. There wasn't a lot of.
Yeah. I'm like, this is all you could really do with the character at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Granted, it was very cool when she took the cross.
The last shot, I was going to say, that last shot, though, was pretty much pitch perfect.
Razor glass to...
Yeah. The director there, James Mangold, sir.
Yeah.
Well done there.
She takes the cross and she turns it outside. And
to an X.
For a second there, I'm looking at it, I'm like, why is she trying to like represent what the cross looked like when Jesus was carrying? Oh, it's an X.
Yeah.
My God, that's awesome.
Yeah. The other X-Men unceremoniously killed by Professor... Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Really?
And mentioned like once, maybe twice, in what amounts to a throwaway line.
I wouldn't call it that, but they just kind of... I mean, there had to be a reason for them not to be there, so that's what they did. I guess, but it just felt like...
I would have liked...
Really? That's how they all died?
If you're not going to go through, like... I read an interview with James Mangold where he said that he didn't show the X-Men dying because if you did that, then the movie's about Charles Xavier.
That's fine.
It's not about Logan.
No,
I can understand
that's
that.
Totally fair.
But you know what? At least maybe like a scene where they visit the graves or something.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Something. To give some payoff for having watched all these X-Men movies.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll all get punked.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as all these complaints, as I just laid it all out, I would still, again, it is a good movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I'm nitpicking, and it might sound that way, but ultimately, it's good. It's not the send off I wanted, and it's not all it's being made out to be, but it's one of the good X-Men movies. Yeah. I'll put it in the good pile, as opposed to the trashy bad ones, that's a much bigger pile. So. It's above the rim.
For me, the bad ones is actually a small pile. There's 3 piles. There's good, there's bad, and there's meh.
Oh, okay. I just lumped the meh in with the bad. It's got to move me to get to get to meh.
Or as I often call it, X-meh.
Yes, I've been there.
Yeah.
So, yay? I don't know.
The meh films are Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, The Wolverine.
Can we say half of the Wolverine?
3/4.
Okay.
3/4.
Okay. It's good. Not bad.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Logan for you.
There you go. That's Logan for me, man. Sorry.
I as well saw a movie in this 2-week stint, and a movie you kind of pshawed as not being outrageously excited about, and then got reprimanded by one of our listeners, Nate, for pshawing the film. I got to go see Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
And I actually went and saw it with Nate, because he's a friend of mine, and Julie came with us. Holy crap, sir. That is an amazingly fun amusement park ride of a film.
I'll check it out. I'll go see it when I get some time here.
Freaking, if you like giant monster films, giant monsters doing stuff, fighting stuff. This movie had monsters of all sizes.
Okay.
And there is, at one moment, a Samuel L. Jackson does a throwback to one of his previous movie roles. It happens really quickly. But
does it involve snakes or a plane?
Does not.
Oh.
Does not. And that I'm not going to give you any more clues. But
does it involve sharks?
No, it's not Deep Blue Sea, unfortunately. A film I love deeply, bluely, and sealy. But my wife does not in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
So she doesn't understand when a movie's trying to be legitimate and is really bad. You watch it because it's bad, and that's the fun of it.
Okay.
So like Deep Blue Sea, Shoot 'Em Up. Have you ever seen Shoot 'Em Up?
No.
Oh, dude, you got to watch Shoot 'Em Up.
Similarly, like over the top ridiculous?
If you can find a plot in Shoot 'Em Up, I'll give you $100.
All right.
Just you, Drew Salcino. I'm not making this an open offer to
Someone's going to tweet at you.
If you can find a plot and shoot him up. I mean, you get a great Paul Giamatti performance.
Well, the man never mails it in.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, Kong Skull Island was freaking fun. So much fun. Really enjoyable. Highly recommend going to see it. Oh, and by the way, stay to the end of the credits.
That's what I hear.
There is an end credit scene that creates excitement that I have not felt since the original end credit scene of Iron Man. When Nick Fury first showed up and first uttered the word Avengers.
Can I just watch that? Because I'll be real honest with you. I kind of know what's probably there, and that's all I really care about.
You don't know what's there. You what you think is there is partially there.
Okay. That's enough for me.
No, trust me. I know where your tastes and your enjoyment lies. Trust me.
All right.
Trust me.
Okay.
So yeah. So that was that. That's
cool.
It's our little pseudo section and how I didn't even talk about my 2 weeks. Just sum up fairly quickly.
Snow,
more snow.
birthday party,
game nights. Played a lot of Horizon.
Yeah.
Showed you Horizon.
Yeah, pretty game.
It's very pretty.
The animals though. Can I make an observation?
Sure.
Did they have to go through the Michael Bay pile of garbage robot factory?
The more you see them, the more you get to distinguish them.
Okay. At least they have an identifiable profile, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because the Transformers and Wizard are still these big piles of trash throwing at the screen.
No, I get you.
Okay.
No, you get to... In the same way Zelda, not all the grass looks the same all the time, and Horizon, not all the mechanoid animals look the same way all the time.
Okay.
So, yeah, still playing that game, still loving that game. So, yeah. That being said, dear listeners, if you would like to send us any questions, any comments, any suggestions for the show, by all means, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach us at Devils Do Pod on Twitter. Even though I don't tweet all the time, I do check it fairly regularly. You can search facebook.com/devilsdopod, or you can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com. Or you can find all these resources available to you on the devilsdopodcast.com website. That being said, we actually have no listener questions this week.
What?
So there's no cross-examination.
Someone tell Alan and Jay that I'm very disappointed in them.
Well, it happens. They got lives.
Do they?
They're not the
Do they, though? We're their lives. Us. Yeah, I said it.
It's our time down here.
That's right.
They have no time up there. So
I see what you did there.
Yeah. That being said, we're going to move on to our case files. We're going to go over some news. Drew.
Yeah?
We don't have to go to our normal dumpster fire this week.
Oh, no?
We will be revisiting an old dumpster fire.
Okay.
That's been smoldering.
All right.
But we'll get there momentarily.
Okay, we got to talk this out.
That being said,
curious.
Not this past week, but the week before, the week we didn't record, that week's issue of Entertainment Weekly spilled out a whole mess of Thor Ragnarok information.
Oh, yeah.
And images.
He's got short hair now.
He's got short hair, and apparently he gets his hair cut in the movie.
Okay.
Drew, what do you think of what you've seen? We got a lot of pictures. The color palette has changed drastically on this film.
I got to tell you, I like it because it looks different. Looks very different, very exciting. I don't know, man. Like, you've seen Thor, you saw Thor: The Dark World, and you saw what Thor looks like in the Avengers, and it's kind of the aesthetic, and not for nothing, it's kind of old hat. So he's got a new hat.
Yeah, got a new bag.
It all looks different and exciting. I'm all for different and exciting. My only question, I have not seen him with Mjolnir yet.
He loses Mjolnir.
Oh.
It's not said how.
Okay.
And that's why you see him with those two swords.
I bet it's going to be something really silly, like he's in a fight and he drops it and then he gets captured or something. And then that's it.
That wouldn't work because you could just call it to him. And then I don't know.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I think it looks cool.
Very bright, very different color palette. I have a concern.
Oh.
It looks different. It looks interesting. My concern is the director has been quoted as saying, like, Big Trouble in Little China was a big influence on this film.
Okay.
Now, you're probably puzzled because I have, the past on the show, sung many a praise of not only the film, but the film star, Mr. Kurt Russell, a.k.a. Jack Burton.
Marvel's Kurt Russell.
Yes, as we will see in
Guardians.
Not less than 2 months.
Oh, bring it on. Such excite.
So, that being said, one of my chief complaints, and there wasn't a lot of them, about Thor the Dark World, is that I thought it could have used one or two jokes less than what it had.
Okay.
I'm okay. Like, I get, when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I get my comic relief from Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man, a little bit of Hawkeye.
So in other words,
that's where I get my comic
we got our comic relief quotient met.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't like Thor can have those moments, but it's not one of those movies where I say you need to ratchet up the funny.
We don't know that it's going to be a laugh fest.
Yeah, no, I know. But I'm still again. This is still the film in phase. This is phase 4?
3.
That
I think
I'm currently the most excited about. So I'm still eager to see, and we will see come November, I believe.
Yep, November. Everyone forgets. Yeah, November.
So yeah,
I don't know. I'm open to whatever they're going to do.
What'd you think of seeing Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster?
Oh boy,
Kate Blanchett as Hela. I almost said Helena Bonham Carter.
All of the guest players in this look
fantastic.
Yeah. I like to think that Jeff Goldblum just showed up that way, and they were like,
as Guardians, Dr. Sadler,
something like that. Like they were like, hey, like, I don't know, someone sees him like that, and they go, "Hey, Jeff, what movie are you making?" And he just goes, "Movie?
But
what do you mean?" Like he's just like that all the time.
Commercial. Funny thing with his character, he is the ruler of the planet Scar.
Okay.
Unlike in the storyline Planet Hulk, where we find Hulk marooned on Planet Scar, it's the Red King who's the ruler. So, be interesting to see what they do there. But yeah, Kate Blanchett as Hela. I've heard some fan questions have been raised, and they're interesting questions. Is Hela who Thanos is going to be infatuated with if they choose to do that storyline in Avengers Infinity War? Because in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, Thanos' chief goal is not necessarily to rule the universe. He's already achieved that. He knows that. He wants to make Death.
He wants to court Death.
Fall in love with him.
Yes. Hela doesn't necessarily have to be...
I would be okay if... I would actually kind of prefer that because Death is kind of a boring character.
Sure, but, I mean... I don't know.
You see the movie Meet Joe Black? Boring as all hell.
We'll see. Have you seen Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, my friend?
Fair point.
Death can play a mean bass, sir.
Butch and Sundance, the early years. Best of 7? Damn right!
That's right. Buffalo's own, by the way.
You sank my best sheep. I watched that movie within the past year or so. Still friggin' hilarious.
You know, I didn't like it as a kid. I thought it was weird as a kid because it wasn't time travel so much as it was just like a bizarre odyssey of madness. As an adult, it's like, this is incredible. How did this get made?
Sorry. They Melvined me.
Oh, Station has a totally righteous butt. Anyway.
To be congratulated on. Okay, so yeah, there's...
Yeah, I'm all for it, man.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be cool. Thanos, I think his mission in the movies will still be to court death. Just remember his first appearance in the Stinger for the Avengers when his weird-faced, whatever that alien guy said, to go to Earth is to court death, and that's when we get the Thanos grin. So he's like, okay, that's his deal.
Yep. Okay, so that being said, let us move along to an old dumpster fire.
An old one.
Yep.
Okay.
And one that's holds a particular scorch to my heart.
Go on.
The Sony Spider-Man universe.
Oh. Did we establish that as a dumpster fire?
Well, I think it goes without saying it quickly turned into a dumpster fire.
Okay.
At least a raging house fire. But over
the pan is on fire.
Yeah. Get some
throw some flour on it real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we got 2 announcements this week, Spider-Man related. One, okay, cool. Another one,
yeah, I have questions.
So, you want to start with the good or the bad?
Let's start with the good.
Let's start with the good. Okay, so Spider-Man, shortly after they made the deal with Marvel to allow Marvel to use the character Spider-Man, I think like a month or two after that, they announced that they were also going to do a Spider-Man animated film, CG animated film. There was a little rumblings for it a little time after that, and then we haven't heard much of it. Over the past 2 weeks, they've said, yes, we're still doing it. Not only are we still doing it, but it will be, in fact, a Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Look at that.
Not Peter Parker. I am all for this.
To a lot of people, he is the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Question.
Shoot.
Okay, number one, I didn't know it was a CGI film.
Yep.
Number one. Number two, is this a straight-to-video film?
No.
This is going to be theatrically released.
Theatrical release.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Cool.
So I am definitely all for that. I think a lot of people wanted Miles Morales to be the Spider-Man that was going to be in Civil War. I don't think that necessarily would have worked. Just because you're trying to reestablish a character that people have familiarity with.
Well, that, and I've laid out several times, maybe not on this show, but I've anytime that's come up, I always tell people, this is Marvel's flagship, and the crown jewel of the Marvel crown, their mascot, their poster boy.
See, the thing is, I don't think he has been for like the past 10 years.
He is.
Because he
always will be. He always
once
will
the cinematic universe was established, they just, as like someone who reads the character and follows the character, they just kind of lost their way with how to handle that.
That's fine, but he's still the face of the company. He's still Spider-Man. He's Spider-Man, dude. That's at the end of the day, he's Spider-Man. I
would say right now the Avengers are the face of the company. If anything, Iron Man is the face of the company.
If Superman is DC's face,
which he's not.
Traditionally speaking.
Well, traditionally being pre-20 years ago, I would say for the past 20 years it's been Batman.
I don't argue that, but I still think Superman is like the...
He should be.
He's the icon of the brand? I don't know how to... Batman's clearly more popular, but Superman is like the GOAT. I don't know. I can't explain it. He's the icon of the brand.
Put it in wrestling terminology. You normally are able to do better with that.
Batman's the champ, but Superman is still the face of the company, if that makes sense.
No.
Batman's been the reigning champ for a long time, but Superman is still like the... I don't know. Superman's still on the roster.
Batman is John Cena. Superman's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, kind of like that.
All right.
That's a good way to put it. Sure. Yes.
All right.
Spider-Man is Marvel's Superman.
Yeah.
That's as simple as I can make it. He's the icon. And when Marvel finally got the rights back to Spidey, or to share them, however, I'm not the terminology. However the deal was done, there was no way it was going to be anybody but Peter, because it was going to be, we got him back. We control how he is now going to be out there in the movies. Finally. So it was going to be Peter, no matter what. It had to be Peter.
So, but with this announcement, I'm very optimistic about this film. I'm excited to see it. I've always enjoyed the Miles Morales Spider-Man. I thought he was like a good... He was the right character at the right time in the right place.
And he's a good character.
He's a good character. Great costume design.
Yeah.
I always thought that was really cool, like alternate Spider-Man costume design. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this.
It is a Sony movie, though, right?
It is a Sony movie.
Well,
Speaking of Sony, if there is one character that Sony has a bigger heart-on for than Spider-Man, it's Venom.
Do they?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Well, they do now.
Well, they always have. Because cast your mind back to the... Oh, I can't even think of a classification for how bad this movie was. We'll just say festering pile of soul-sucking suffering that was Spider-Man 3. Now, granted,
yeah.
This film was still made by Sam Raimi, who did Spider-Man 1, great.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, amazing.
Yes, no pun intended.
No pun intended. And then came around to Spider-Man 3 when Sony put its foot down and said, you have to put Venom in this film. Raimi said numerous times he does not want to do Venom because the story is too complicated.
Well, that and it's just not his era. He was a
he was a classic.
He was a classic
Romita
Spider-Man.
Senior,
yeah,
whatnot.
Ditko even.
Yeah. So here's the thing about Venom.
He's a great T-shirt.
Sony has said they are doing a Venom film.
Yes, that's the news. Sony's doing a Venom movie.
Yeah.
And what?
Yeah. Venom's original classic Eddie Brock Venom is a great character. He's a rarity in modern comics as well because he's a villain that was created, got popular, and has stuck around in one form or another. Most modern villains don't take and just kind of fade away.
Yeah.
Venom is a great character. And he's one of those characters that transcends the comic reader's culture into the mainstream culture. He's up there with Deadpool, Harley Quinn, Spider-Gwen, that got a bunch of fans that don't know jack diddly squat about him.
Pump the brakes on the Spider-Gwen. That's a subsect of people that I can't identify
a thing,
with.
Man.
She's a thing amongst the nerds.
No, she's mainstream.
She's not mainstream.
If I can go to Best Buy and buy a Spider-Gwen statue, she's mainstream.
And for every person that knows what that is, there's 4,500 others. Who is this and why?
All they say, well, it's you can say the same for Deadpool. And Venom because they're like,
no.
Oh, dude with swords.
No, they know Deadpool and
kind of Spider-Man with a big mouth.
No, they know those.
Chick in cool Spider-Man-ish looking costume. It's the same thing.
They know Deadpool based on the box office receipts, and they know Venom based on 30 years of osmosis through the hottest period in the comics industry when Venom was very much a visible part of it.
So Sony is doing a Venom film.
Yes. Why? I know why. Money. Rights. Or something.
But...
Well, hang on, Carl. Slow down. Let's establish why you're upset. So... Carl, first question. Hi, Venom.
Dude in the front row.
He's Spider-Man villain, right? Is this a Spider-Man movie? Is this part of Marvel's Spider-Man movies?
Nope, it's just going to be a Venom movie.
Is Spider-Man going to be in it?
Nope.
But the costume used to be Spider-Man, so is he going to explain how they got it?
Next question.
Is Venom going to be in the Avengers?
Next question. I will Sean Spicer you all day long.
So it has nothing to do with Spider-Man. It has nothing to do with Marvel's ties to the character. What are they doing? What's the point of this?
I have to assume that Spider-Man will get some sort of mention in the film.
Well, he kind of needs to.
Whether or not he will appear in the film, I hope not, because What, you don't do the Tom Holland Spider-Man?
If it's not tied to Marvel, then no, you can't.
Yeah.
Marvel cast him. That's their boy.
Yeah. Because it's not like, okay, there are a faction of Spider-Man villains that if I had to, I could take and make a story for them that you could put in a movie that would not necessarily need to involve Spider-Man.
Okay.
Venom,
he's inextricably tied to Spider-Man.
is definitely not one of them.
He's an evil Spider-Man.
Yes.
That's his whole gimmick.
Yeah. He is a combination of an alien symbiont who hates Spider-Man and a disgraced ex-reporter
Who hates Peter
who
Parker.
hates Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
Yeah. These are important plot points here.
Yes. And not to mention the origin story of where that costume came from
It's a whole different ballgame.
whole different ballgame. Did you hear like people joking around that new movie Life?
Yeah.
The space movie. Is it like the prequel to Venom? Like,
No.
I suppose it could be. All I see is black goo roaming around trying to kill people. So yeah, that's all I've heard is that Sony is making a Spider-Man film and I'm already out, or making a Venom film and I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing. And they screwed him up so bad in Spider-Man 3 too. He was a non-character.
Yeah, until he was mandated to be in the movie. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's Venom time. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be lame. Anything good? Well, hang on. Anything else happen? I mean, Matt Reeves is directing the Batman.
Yeah, we covered that last episode.
But they're going back to a page one rewrite. So
yeah, covered that last episode.
Okay, The Flash. Does anyone know what's going on?
The fire
no
is
one
still
knows?
burning in the dumpster,
Okay,
sir.
good to see. Good to know.
They released a final trailer. I think it's a final trailer for Wonder Woman, and it still looks good to me.
We'll
still
see.
Hopeful. Still want it to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Switch is selling well.
Yeah, Nintendo's doubling their production to meet demand.
No one.
I don't know about that. I think some people are surprised.
You're telling me a new video game system is not. No video game system is ever going to bomb the first couple weeks of its release.
No, yeah, I don't know. It could have gone either way, but it's good to see.
Maybe the Atari Jaguar.
Jaguar was 3DO. Jaguar. These were bombs, man.
But like within the first couple
weeks
of their release,
the Sega Saturn that tanked. That tanked
not in the
hard.
first couple weeks of its release.
Oh,
it was
tanked,
selling.
dude.
It was selling big. It shot up high really quick, then descended pretty quick because you got to remember that was the first console of that generation on the market, so people were gobbling it up quickly because there's nothing else out there. And I will make an argument: Sega Saturn was a good system.
Yeah,
it just got outperformed.
The Dreamcast,
did not bomb in its first couple weeks.
Didn't do well either.
Again, you're talking lifespan of the console. I'm talking like first couple weeks of its release. Immediate people are just like no. And that's not going to happen because people are going to be willing to give something new a shot.
Okay. Well,
but yeah, Nintendo said that they're doubling their production. It's selling extremely well. Did they say if it sold more than the Wii?
They said that it sold more than the Wii in its initial release phase. But here's that's a misleading quote, though.
All right.
It sounds cool. Like, oh my God, the Wii was huge. The Wii was huge over time. Initially, when the Wii was released, it was very, very risky. People thought Nintendo kind of lost their mind.
Yeah.
So,
and then old people discovered it.
Right, kind of like that. People who didn't traditionally play video games discovered it. So, we'll see how it pans out. All you got to do is keep the games coming, dude, because the system's legit. Hardware's legit. Does what it comes as advertised, and it's fun and it's neat. And so keep the games coming.
If I was to, let's say I left here at an hour where retail businesses are over or not. If I made an effort tonight to go find a Wii, would I or a
Wii?
A Switch?
Yes.
Would I find one?
Likely no.
All right.
Still off the shelves. But Retailers are getting more stock in soon, I believe. Their shipments are coming. It's not like the NES Classic where it's like, we have no idea what's happening, ever.
Yeah.
Good luck. No, there are Switches coming.
Would I be able to go get an NES Classic?
No. I'm not even convinced that thing actually exists. I'm going to put it that there. Let me put it out there.
Don't you have one?
No.
Oh, that's right. You didn't.
Couldn't find one, man. So
I already have all those.
I got cartridges anyway, so it's all good. It doesn't. It doesn't do my NES doesn't do HDMI out though, which is unfortunate. But whatever, it's okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's good news. I'm excited. Mario Kart 8 comes out next month. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe comes out.
Yeah.
Best version of the game ever, man. And I say without hesitation.
All right. Okay, so that is the case files.
Yeah.
Now we are on to I wouldn't necessarily call it a review as much as just a first impression.
Sure, a handshake, if you will.
Yeah.
How do you do?
Part of what would have been the case files last week were two stories that came out about the newest addition to the Netflix Marvel Universe, Iron Fist. And the two stories would have been, one, there is no dragon in it, which is kind of important.
To the origin, yeah.
And two, the first 6 episodes were released to critics and
didn't do well.
Sir, no.
Yeah.
No. Now, last Friday night, we got together, you and I and the wives, and Alan. Oh, wait, no, Alan bailed on us.
Perhaps wisely.
Alan bailed on us. Why? Because St. Patrick's Day. Because Alan is so Irish.
Everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Except
Still
me.
love you, Alan. We're a little hurt. We're a little hurt that we didn't way heavier than beer.
We had beer. I had beer. I brought
You
beer.
had beer.
I brought beer.
My wife made
there was
macaroni
delicious mac and cheese
with bacon and
It
broccoli.
was delicious.
So we got together to watch Iron Fist.
2 episodes.
We did the first 2 episodes. What are your first impressions?
If you read the critic reviews of this show, you'd think it's poison, pure garbage, crap. I won't go that far, but I will say it's my least favorite Netflix Marvel series so far, and the pace is glacial.
Yes.
Let's get on with it, please, because this show is dragging. Remember how we said there's pacing issues in Luke Cage and for a couple episodes, and how we've said that Jessica Jones, good show, but it's like 3-4 episodes too long, pacing issues.
Even spots of Daredevil season 1 and 2, pacing.
Less, to a much less degree.
I think the pacing issues are there in Daredevil, but we don't acknowledge them as much because love for the character.
Maybe that's it. But put that aside. Yeah. Usually those pacing issues, though, come into play, mid-season or towards the end.
Yep.
This is out the gate, dude. I'm waiting for stuff to happen. For a guy named Iron Fist, he doesn't do a whole lot of iron fisting. Yeah, I know. Sorry, it was
Keep
there.
Going.
It was there. And we look. They're trying to play coy. Can we get spoilers at this point?
I don't think there's anything really to spoil in those first 2 episodes.
Well, let's put it this way. They're playing coy with his origins to the viewer, so you don't know if he's really telling the truth or if he's kind of kooky, kind of crazy. It's sort of like this weird... Look,
but
we all know.
We all know.
You're just wasting my time.
Rand. The first 2 episodes are about him trying to prove that he's Danny Rand. And fun drinking game, take a drink every time Finn Jones says, I'm Danny Rand.
Yeah, I'm just...
You won't make it past the first 45 minutes of the first episode, but...
My biggest complaint of the show is that it's too slow. Like, let's go. Let's get out. Oh, also, I'm not for nothing. The guy that got to play Danny is fine. He's likable and everything. I feel like everyone else in this show is unlikable. I like Colleen Wing. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Except for Colleen Wing, she's good.
Yep.
But the Ward guy,
Yeah.
Not
Smarmy Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
They took James Franco, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Justin Long.
Put him in a blender. Threw some smarm in there.
Yeah. That's what he looks like.
Poured out, that's what you got.
And then the girl, Joy, I hate her too. She's like...
She gets I'm up to episode 6.
Something about her just rubs me the wrong way.
A little more likable.
All right. She comes off real...
No, I know. I know. I'm going to say something here that I never thought I would say for a Marvel Studios project.
Oh, boy.
And this is just based on the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
It's boring.
Yeah, exactly. It's my point.
It's boring.
Yeah.
There's little to no fighting.
Fisting. No.
In the
more
first
of the
2
iron
episodes.
fisting.
And for the episodes that I've watched since then, not a ton more fighting. Oh, and you remember the whole thing about the showrunner saying how we couldn't justify putting him in the costume?
Yeah.
They could totally justify putting him in the costume. You could have put him in the costume right from the get-go.
Okay.
It could have been something as simple as he brought it back from Kunlun.
Sold. I'm good.
And because at some point he becomes a public figure with a recognizable face and decides to go out and do vigilante-y type stuff to which a disguise would be beneficial. Here's the thing. Like, they're kind of doing the opposite of what Logan did, whereas Logan doesn't give you any payoff or any backstory about X-Men or anything like that.
Okay.
Iron Fist is giving you too much backstory. Like, Madame Gao shows up, and
we should be happy about this.
For her first couple appearances, she's in the shadows, and you don't see her face.
Okay.
We know it's Madame Gao. What's with the point of trying to like surprise us? Because at one point she has a big reveal. She steps out of the shadows and it's Madame Gao. We know this. Nobody started with Iron Fist.
I was going to say, do they think that the people watching Iron Fist haven't watched the other shows? Because they kind of have.
And the hand comes into play.
Yeah, we popped for the hand when they mentioned him in the second episode.
Did we really pop?
You know why I did?
We kind of looked at each other with a smile and we're like, yeah, cool, the hand.
Well, here's why. Because in the context of those 2 episodes, it was something. It was like, oh, yay, something that we know is happening, because nothing is happening in this show.
And they're treating the hand now like they did in Daredevil Season 2. But the problem is, in Daredevil Season 2, we had not met the hand before.
Okay.
We've already met the hand. We know what the hand is.
All right. Well, they got to get the people up to speed.
Yeah. We're going to get to...
I'll catch up.
Daredevil. This episode, we are starting Daredevil Season 2.
Yes.
Having watched first episode of Daredevil Season 2, after having watched 5 episodes of Iron Fist...
Yeah.
Dude, the fighting is not good in Iron Fist.
See,
and there's a problem with that. That's like the technology in Iron Man being terrible.
Yeah, dude. His whole gimmick is fighting. His whole thing is that he ninja stuff.
He rarely uses the Iron Fist.
Yeah, not even that. I don't even need him to be doing the Iron Fist proper. Just give me some kung fu.
Yeah,
give me Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in a Marvel show. Give me that.
I think we both agreed that they're starting the story at a very weird spot.
Yeah.
It's like him coming back to New York City.
Would you say he's coming to America?
That'd be great. That'd be so great. But no, and we've discussed how the past couple Netflix shows have followed a 2-act format.
Yeah, yeah.
If they're doing that with this one, I really hope second act is better than the first. But
I've heard that it is.
That being said, if you're going to do that, then just start in Kunlun.
Yeah.
Show me. This is one character where I would like to see his fully fleshed out origin, because that is an interesting origin and is so much more than, parents died, this person died, fell into vats, so on and so forth.
Well, we get a lot of parent death in the first 2 episodes.
It's a process that he goes through for first like 15, 16 years of his life. So I would hope, I'm sure we'll see like snippets more of it, but I think like should on that as first entire act. That being said, it's not bad.
Okay.
I'm not getting the Iron Fist story that I wanted, but I'm not getting something that's outrageously terrible. It's still interesting enough to keep me coming back to it, and not just for the purposes of like for our show here or for doing the Defenders and whatnot. But it's definitely, I will say this. If it continues on this path and does not pick up significantly, this will be Marvel's first misstep.
I'm actually already okay saying that based on 2 episodes.
I'm okay with Marvel having a misstep. Sometimes you gotta have a little punch in the gut.
Gut check.
When you're getting a little high on your horse.
Well, not for nothing, and take this for what it's worth. This is the show that they were most like, I don't know if this one's gonna work. This almost didn't get made. Like Iron Fist was kind of off the slate for a little bit after because they said they weren't sure how to make it work, and then I think what happened was they were on the fence. They were probably going to shelf it, and then Daredevil took off like gangbusters.
Yeah.
And then so did Jessica Jones, and Netflix said, "Give us more of the Marvel stuff."
Yeah.
And Marvel, okay, well,
and here's the thing: like you didn't need to do anything in the story to make it good. Just tell the story.
Yeah, well, yeah.
This is again another one of those characters that has endured for well over 30 years.
It's just got to get out with the point. It's just got to get out with the point. That's all I'm saying. Just get it rolling. Let's do something here.
One thing I do really enjoy that I will say it does better than the other Netflix shows, and this is kind of stupid, but I enjoy it. I never skip it. The intro sequence.
Oh,
really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. There was fightings and stuff, and it's Street Fighter 4-esque.
Yeah, it was probably why I think.
But well.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But speaking of intro sequences that we do like, let me just tell you, sir, because this episode's been a long time coming. This episode of our show.
Let us.
Can I just say it was so good to hear that opening theme again?
Yes, it was. It was like a warm blanket.
And can I say, as we're about to dive into Daredevil Season 2.
Episode 1. Entitled Bang.
Dude. I've only watched, just like the first season, I've only watched this second season one time. I watched it once. That's it. Once.
Really?
Done. Loved it. But
this is my third time through.
Okay. That's my second, so I haven't watched this since it premiered. Dude. This episode is great. This show is so great.
Is it? Do you think
it's great?
Do you think this had to maybe do with the fact that you just watched the first 2 episodes of Iron Fist?
No.
And you got
no. I mean,
you got easily twice as much action.
Look,
in 1 episode of Daredevil, they did 2 of Iron Fist.
I mean, the comparison is there, but I'm not that hung up on Iron Fist. I'm not that emotionally hung up on Iron Fist to make that influence my take here. Just watching this episode fresh for the first time in a while. Oh my god, dude. This show. This
season.
Daredevil is so... Look, we're doing a podcast about Daredevil, so it goes without saying that I think Daredevil's awesome.
We're going to mark out for Daredevil.
This friggin' show, Daredevil, is so good. It's great. It gives you everything.
It goes back to like what I'd always thought. I think the first season of Daredevil might be the best thing Marvel Studios have ever done.
I can get behind that. And that's having seen Winter Soldier, which again is in that upper pantheon.
And now funny side note. I saw an article on CBR.com.
Notice how they changed it from comic book resources. Well, no, it's just CBR now because we can't say comic books because people don't care anymore.
They said
aside.
the article was about how long it would take to watch all the Marvel Cinematic Universe
Films?
stuff. All, films, television, everything. Want to take a guess?
Well, let's see. We got 13 hours of Daredevil. Well, hang on, 26 hours of Daredevil, technically. Plus another 39 with Jessica Jones. It's 40. It's 52 with Luke Cage.
Don't forget Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh God. Oh geez. 3 months. Ballpark figure.
No, God, no, way under that.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought
6 days, 14 hours,
really?
45 minutes.
It's shorter than I thought it would be.
That's like nonstop watching, no sleep, nothing.
It's a lot of content.
It is.
It's a lot of content.
It is.
So, bang.
Start out in the tradition of like a lot of superhero type sequels,
Or
where we kind of pick up. It's kind of like saying, "Hey, what you been doing lately?"
Yeah.
And we found some guys who robbed a suitcase store.
Let me tell you what. The
It's
opening
suitcases.
shot of this, I totally marked out for the opening shot of this.
I did too. And you know what? It's funny because a crime like this doesn't happen anymore.
Well, not just the sequence. I mean, I'm talking just the shot, the opening shot.
Yeah.
Panning the rooftops in Hell's Kitchen with the water towers and all that stuff on the building. Man, if you read Daredevil, this is the imagery. This is the imagery of Daredevil.
Yeah.
And here in season 2 kicks off, and it's just like, oh man, it is just reveling in.
It's a nice warm bath.
It's great. It's great.
So we find Matt going about the business of being Daredevil.
Yeah.
He tracks down the suitcase robbers.
Yeah.
Knocked over a jewelry store. Once again, crime like this doesn't happen anymore, but who cares? Because we get to see Matt do stuff.
And not for nothing, but he does when he's doing his, he's listening to the whole city when he's up on the roof there, and when he finally does beat these assailants down and take care of business for the one guy, the guy in the church that tries to take a girl hostage, and Matt's like, "Nah, buddy, no." When they pan up to him on the roof, he cracks a smile.
Yeah, a little smile.
He likes being Daredevil.
He likes being Daredevil for now.
Yes.
The end of the episode, he might not like it as much.
No, not so much. There's a heat wave in the city,
yes.
by the way. Funny, I wonder if they are taking influence from Daredevil Father by Joe Quesada, because that was a similar plot point in that as well.
Yeah. From what I remember from this season, like we discussed with Man Without Fear, Daredevil season 1 borrowed heavily from Man Without Fear. This season as well
fleshed it out a lot more.
borrows from Man Without Fear, but not nearly as heavily. But I'm interested to see like what other things they're borrowing from. Like my question is, because you read much more extensively the Punisher Max series than I did.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the Irish mobs, is that from the Kitchen Irish storyline?
No.
It's not.
No.
Okay.
And I have thoughts on that. We can get into that a little more, I guess, when we get into the Punisher here. But no relation.
All right. The Punisher in this episode does a little Timothy Robbins from Bull Durham.
Do we have? We're just going to go there? Okay.
Yeah, this is our new format, man. We're just freewheeling discussion.
All right. Well, let's freewheel.
He announces his presence with authority.
Dude, let me tell you what. I'm of two minds about that. Because again, I'm gonna separate the cinematography from the plot, or from the character plot. That big mob meeting goes down, and they all get gunned down in vicious fashion. I was kind of like, oh man, this is this is the way it's done. Strike number, I don't what I call what it is.
I think
let me get a couple
might
things.
Have something similar.
Let me get one thing that two things I don't like about the Punisher as it pertains to this episode. One of them is a bigger plot point for the Punisher overall in the show. The big plot point thing overall that I don't like about Punisher in this series.
One guy lived.
No, well that happened, but that's not that's happened before. No, it's the Punisher. The mob that he's fighting, the mob that he's after, they're all Irish mob. Now I know the Irish mob is all in vogue these days after The Departed and all that business, but like, dude, my name is Drew Celestino. I know my mafia history and whatnot, and I know they're not a big deal anymore these days, but to me, it's still inextricably tied to the Punisher. So if he's not going after Italians, I'm a little upset. It's just a thing. I don't know. I can't explain it.
We need ethnic diversity.
Fine, but they have to, the Irish thing is, it's such an easy pick, though. You know, like, the Departed was hot. Let's do that.
Here's
I don't know.
my one nitpick about that scene. Their accents,
yes,
and them constantly referring to themselves as Irish, and that scene was not enough. We had to load up the table with corned beef, nothing but corned beef and cabbage and whiskey. I was like,
not for nothing, dude.
Come on,
but
man.
In the spirit of St. Patrick's Day that just passed by, you think that's not a real thing?
No, I get that it's a real thing. I'm just saying, like, we knew they were Irish.
We had to make sure we knew. The guy's ringtone.
Yeah, the ringtone too.
Yeah,
like,
it's all it's all Lord of the Dance and whatnot. Okay, so that's a little nitpick that and because that becomes a bigger issue for the Punisher's origin in this show. It hurts me a little bit. It just does. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I need some mafioso here, man.
Listen, man. The Italian mafia has had more than their fair share of representation.
They have
on both the big screen and the small.
I know. But the Punisher, that's his thing.
No. His thing is, and I quote Dolph Lundgren, if you're guilty, you're dead.
Yeah.
It's not if you're Italian guilty.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
No, I know, but it's just the origin is inextricably tied to me. His birth name is Castiglione. The man is a Gumbati. Come on, man. Work with me here. Anyway, that's nitpick number two. Nitpick number two. And hang on. Before I get to the nitpick, let's talk about Frank's introduction proper here. Man, he comes on the scene hard. The whole I forgot, dude. But maybe I was like, maybe it just didn't register with me at the time I watched it, the first episode. But watching it again, that walk into the hospital, the way they shot it, over his shoulder from behind, like the whole thing is like, this guy is.
And the funny thing is, like, you
business.
don't even see his face until the last 10 seconds of the episode.
But this guy's all business.
Yeah,
it's serious. This is it's going down.
Like, they're doing a good job of establishing him as more than a man.
Yes.
Without showing him as having superpowers and whatnot.
Well, it also helps that throughout the whole episode, the cops talk about the hits on the mob. Come on, Lucas, I'm talking about the Punisher here. They talk about the mob hits, and they say it's like a military or a gang with high powered weaponry.
Yeah,
it's like they think it's a whole bunch of people, and then Daredevil rescues that guy from the meatpacking warehouse. Takes him off the hook, dude.
The meat hook.
Off the meat hook.
Squishy sounds.
And Matt asks him, who did this? Who are they? And the guy says, not they.
One guy.
Him. One guy. So you got this build up to this, oh my God. That's when they show him strutting down the hallway in the hospital. Okay, here's the nitpick. As awesome as all that is, because it is awesome.
Yeah. Dogs think it's awesome too.
Yeah. Frank was real indiscriminate with the pew pew in the hospital. That's not Frank's style.
Yeah, no, I know says well. It was one thing if he was using a more precision weapon.
Yeah.
He's using a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spread on that buckshot.
Yes.
Or maybe if he was using slugs, it is a possibility. But yeah, he starts out, he's confronted by a cop, and he disarms the cop.
Throws the gun away.
Yeah,
so you think, okay, well, he's not going to kill the cop.
Yeah.
But then he just starts shooting the plate.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of as a Punisher fan, I'll tell you, the guy's a sadistic murderer. That is not being debated. But he doesn't go in killing civilians. That is not Frank's MO.
Distorted as it is, he does have some semblance of a code.
As a soldier, if you want to look at it from that perspective, he does not accept collateral damage.
Yeah.
That's not Frank's style. His missions are planned out and intricate, and as few, if any, innocent people are meant to get hurt ever.
Yeah.
He knows his enemies, and he takes them out.
So leaving Frank behind momentarily,
Sure.
we get reintroduced to Nelson and Murdoch.
Yes, we do.
Which is, you can see, has definitely grown into a family.
Yes.
Foggy still does not necessarily approve of Matt's nighttime activities.
No.
But
We established that.
yeah, and like Matt tells him the story that, the gist of it is, if I don't do what I'm doing, people get hurt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but the feeling in the offices is a much warmer family feeling, not necessarily a place of business. You can see that the word, like we hear a lot in this episode about the reputation of Nelson and Murdoch.
They help people.
What they have established, that they help people, they help good people. And you can see, especially in that first scene in the office, how they're helping people.
A lot of people. They have clients.
Yeah, they have a whole waiting room full.
They have clients, but they don't have money.
No money.
Yeah. It took me back to the Fleck film, actually.
It did. It did the bananas and the pastries and
Matt,
yeah.
I got paid in Fluke.
Fluke. It's a fish and sporting goods.
John Favreau's like the one good thing in that movie. I swear to God.
I think Ben Affleck would have made a good Daredevil with a decent script. Again, we have another instance of Ben Affleck playing a character who he is pretty well suited to play, and it gets screwed over by a director. And
Should have been Damon, but in any case, we'll talk about the Daredevil film at a later date.
Yeah.
We're going to get there at some point. We have to. It's unavoidable.
Yep.
So yeah, it's more familial, and even clients are relaying that Karen is more or less the heart of this whole operation.
Yeah.
And that she is tough and thorough, and she does her job well, and she keeps that place rolling.
Yeah, you see very easily, very quickly that Karen is the heart and soul of Nelson and Murdoch. And then we see them at Josie's
bar,
just
character
relaxing,
unto itself,
where you don't drink the water, at all, and then that's when they meet a rarity in life, a survivor of a Punisher dealings.
Before they meet him, though, remember this. They also get the Matt and the Karen.
We get a little
flirtiness.
flirty.
Yeah, that's. Wonder if that's going to turn into anything this time around.
Spoilers. It does.
Yeah. So they're laying that groundwork early, and the Punisher's survivor guy Grotto, he lives and he's in Josie's, and he's there to see, ironically enough, Nelson and Murdoch.
Yeah,
because he knows they hang out there, and he knows they have a good reputation, and he needs help. Yep. He needs to be put into witness protection immediately.
Yeah. Oh, cuss. So
basically, he needs to, get into witness protection. It's not quite that simple, number one. Number two, he also passes out from blood loss.
Yeah, because apparently, to put it in the wise words of once Forrest Gump, you got shot. Although, no, did he though? It might have been shrapnel from.
I think it was shrapnel.
I think he got shot.
But so now that's a problem for a guy on the run who's a mobster and has survived a big hit like that. Because if he goes to a hospital or the police, he could be in bad shape. But Karen takes care of that. She takes him to the hospital, but she takes them under completely false pretenses, fake name. Karen's very resourceful.
Yeah, while Karen takes care of Grotto, Frank and Matt go to the scene.
Foggy and Matt.
No, his name is Frank too, Franklin Nelson.
We say Frank, we know who we're talking about.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Me saying Frank is not inaccurate.
No. I'll allow it this time.
So they go to the scene of the shooting, and Lucas
is all about...
make up his mind.
He likes the episode too, man.
So is it just me, or we see Mahoney, not Police Academy of Mahoney?
No.
But Brett Mahoney, as we met last season, is it just me, or did he get demoted?
Did he get demoted?
Wasn't he like a suit cop at the end of last season?
Ooh, I don't think so.
I think he was.
We might have to go back and do some homework, but I don't recall that.
Yeah.
I know he was a beat cop.
But no, they're trying to figure out what happened.
And they think that it's a big gang warfare thing. And that one of the gangs is heavily armed with high-powered weaponry.
Yes. Much high-power weaponry. Matt overhears a lot of what's going on inside. Trying to think.
Well, don't forget that we get the tip about the other hits that were happening. One including a hit on the biker gang.
Yes.
So Matt tells Foggy to go check that out.
Dogs of Hell.
Yes.
Well, Foggy volunteers to go check it out.
Yeah, it's probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
Doesn't go so well for him.
Matt probably should have gone to that one.
Yeah.
But no, Matt goes to check another source.
Yeah.
Turk.
Our buddy Turk.
Your buddy.
Oh,
Turk.
come on.
Ever since he got Pop killed, he is no longer my buddy.
This was before that, though.
No, it's not.
This is in the show.
Well, yeah, chronologically is before it, but new stuff has come to life.
okay, fair enough.
So I know what he's going to do, and he's no longer my buddy.
Okay.
You can buddy him all you want.
I don't think it's going to go well for me if I do, but...
Because dude killed his response. He didn't pull the trigger, but he might as well have.
All right. But he's selling guns out of his trunk of his car.
Yep.
But all the guys buying, they want machine guns.
Yeah.
He ain't got machine guns.
He gives them some tips, just like soft barrels, spread your shot, yada yada.
But they want this. They want the powerful stuff because
not
of
for Matt,
the gang,
but for Frank.
Yeah, the thing, air quotes, gang.
Yeah,
that's taking them out.
So Matt shows up. We see some, as we did in the intro sequence of the show, we see some Billy Club work.
Oh,
Matt has gotten very proficient with the Billy Club. And if memory serves, at the end of the season, the Billy Club game steps up to the level we all know it to be.
Well, now here it is. He's ricocheting it off of everything. It's like Cap Shield. He's just bouncing it off stuff and
pretty much
taking dudes out. It's great.
Yep. Then he questions Turk after breaking both his hands, which, once again, don't have a problem with. Hashtag because pop.
Fair enough.
Get some information from Turk, knocks him out.
Which led him to the meatpacking district that we discussed. Knocks him out, throws his keys away.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Poor Turk.
Can't catch a break, and I'm okay with that.
So basically, Matt finds the dude who tells him that it's only one guy, and that leads us back to the hospital where Frank is shooting the joint up.
Yeah.
And Karen and Grotto get away in a car. Frank is not going to give them chase on foot. He goes to the roof.
Where he's got a sniper.
He's got a sniper rifle.
Like you do.
Like Frank does. And I thought we were going to, honestly, God, I thought we were going to have to wait like 6 episodes for this to happen. We get right down to it.
We get the first.
Matt and Frank are going at it.
Daredevil versus Punisher showdowns.
Yeah, they don't wait. They waste no time.
And this is brutal. Like we said that the fighting scenes in Iron Fist are subpar for what they should be.
Sure,
considering the show is about a character whose specialty is martial arts.
Yeah.
But there still is the finesse and the style of kung fu in those fights. But this is
a brawl.
Street fight.
Can I point out something to you?
What's that?
Granted, this is early in their relationship, if you want to call it that. Matt should not have this hard of a time fighting Frank.
Why?
Matt is a trained ninja fighter.
So, well, Frank is also trained.
Frank's trained in most Punisher stories you read when he's got to take on Daredevil, he readily admits that he's out of his element, and that Matt will take him apart. Hence why in Welcome Back, Frank. Granted, they circumvent that a little bit here in this episode, but in Welcome Back, Frank, which they lifted the scene for the next episode, the rooftop chain scene, you know.
Yeah.
Frank in his inner monologue even says, I don't stand a chance against this guy. I never do. All I can do is hope to, take as much punishment as I can and fight smart. And he sets up a sonic, like, loud sonic,
grenade,
like a sonic screecher speaker or whatever to mess with Matt's senses and knocks him out. Here, it's like they're kind of on equal footing physically, and that's not quite the case. I'm not going to complain too much. I'm just saying.
Well, you also got to remember, Matt is yet to reach his prime as well.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
This is still the early. We are past proto Daredevil.
Yeah.
We are Daredevil proper, but it's
not
still
prime.
early Daredevil proper.
Okay, fair enough. So they're fighting.
Yeah, they're going at it.
Yes, they are.
It's a brawl with finesse.
Yeah.
You can tell, like, it's brutal, but you can definitely
There's
tell
some style to it.
Style. But Frank, being Frank, ends the fight.
Yeah.
In a way, you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Frank shoots him in the head.
Yeah. And the last word of the episode.
Credits.
Well, what does he say?
Bang.
It's like
His first and last word of the episode.
Title of the episode. See what they did there?
Drew.
Yeah. They did like a thing.
They did. So, shoots him in the head, falls off the roof, credits.
Yeah. Yeah.
They hit the ground running. And you know what's funny? Like, I post on Twitter and I think I just posted on Twitter and our Facebook page. A year to the day that this series debuted on March 18th.
Oh, really?
2016.
Well, here we are.
And my son was born on March 17th, 2016. So the day after my son was born, my wife and I watched first episode in the hospital on the iPad. I was like, it proved to be a relief because he had to go in the NICU after he was born. We were really worried about that. So it was a good hour-long reprieve for what it was. But yeah, here we are, Daredevil season 2. Finally.
Oh man, it's legit. I'm like after that episode, I'm like jacked to watch.
Yeah.
To get this going because man, it's better than I remember. It's better than I remember it being.
Just like when we started this show. This will be our 36th or 37th.
Oh god, 37. Hang on, we better check on that. Continue on, though.
The proper count would be on Facebook because I always number them on the Facebook announcement. You don't number them in the
Oh, I
feed.
do. Sure I do. They're numbered in there.
Lucas will sound like Darth Vader.
This is... Oh, man, come on with this.
Come on, guy.
Wow. Well, I'm annoyed now. It's supposed to be numbered.
Check the Facebook page. Again, this is all making for a great
I know.
visual.
Look, we want to make sure that we have the right information for all of y'all, okay? Sorry. Well, go on with your thought anyway.
So, yeah, but like the first time after we did the first episode on our first episode...
35.
30. So this will be our 35th episode. I am super excited for the second episode of this season.
Yes.
Because, once again, the second episode is, I think... the best episode of the season.
Wow, really?
If I remember.
Okay.
It's the best episode, but it just keeps getting better, just like last season.
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay.
So yeah.
We'll see. There's definitely moments from this season that I vividly remember and I can't wait to see again. So no spoilers. But it's already out. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's been out for a year. If you haven't watched it by now.
I don't want to spoil the moments though. When we get to those moments, I'm gonna be popping real hard.
I think the next episode is the predominant of the episode discussion is going to be the debate on
all right, that's fair.
The rooftop, because that's the real fight of the episode. We get a fantastic fight after that, but the real fight of that episode is that discussion on the rooftop.
I'm not even thinking about the fights that were the highlights of the season for me. There's other moments that I was just like, yes.
Oh God, Frank's graveyard speech.
Pipe down, slow down, slow down.
Pumping the brakes.
Prison scenes. It's good stuff.
Yeah. All
ninjas.
Right. Ninjas. We got ninjas.
Yeah, man. We're here. Daredevil Season 2. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Let's get it going.
So, dear listeners, if you have any questions for us, comments, thoughts on the show, by all means, we want to hear them from you. You can find us at Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to Facebook.com/DevilsDoPod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. That is our show for you. Thank you again very much for joining us. We appreciate it. Any last thoughts, sir?
No, man. I'm all excited for this season rewatch right now, and I'm gonna go play some Zelda. So
Not going to watch any Iron Fist?
oh yeah, that yeah.
Come on. You've had Zelda for a while now.
You know what I can do?
What?
I can put Iron Fist on and play Zelda at the same time.
You're not going to pay attention to Iron Fist then.
It's not.
It might as well be white noise in the background.
Not for nothing, but based on the first 2 episodes, it kind of is.
That's a fair statement. All right, ladies and gentlemen, court is adjourned.
Because it kind of assumes you know those things, it kind of goes like, hey, remember Lectra? Isn't she cool? Check this out. And it's like, yeah.
Every time Electra, stripped in the back alley to fight off muggers.
Oh, we got to talk about some of this stuff.
Some of the stuff is typical Frank Miller.
I was going to get there. There's a lot of Frank. Maybe we should have saw it coming, I guess. Is my point.
Frank is very good at creating very badass women, but he's also very good at portraying them in a very stereotypical way.
Yeah, like Lectra, crazy. And not like, she can't be nebulously crazy. No.
Yeah.
She hears the voices. The voices tell her to take off her clothes and kill people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that I needed all that.
It gives you... So I'm going to sound like an apologist for the story.
We all got our thing.
No, I know. It gives you some background into her psyche, which we didn't get in. Because as much as Elektra is established in the Frank Miller run on Daredevil comics, we don't learn a lot about her.
Okay. Outside
of she had early history with Matt in college.
And that's really all you got?
You don't get a ton about her. She gets hired, if I remember correctly, because it has been a long while since I read the Frank Miller run. She gets hired by Kingpin to take out Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
And through the course of events, she learns that
it's Matt.
It's Matt, and that invites complications. But you don't get a lot of history about her. And what I like about what Miller did here is, as far as like what you refer to as the voices, you got to understand, like, for someone to go through that transformation, not necessarily motivated by tragedy the way like someone like Daredevil or Batman is, but go from that transformation from, innocent girl to one of the world's deadliest assassins.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. That's going to do some serious psychological scarring. And I think that's what Miller's trying to show here.
That's fair. That's fair.
The ways he goes about showing it, again, like we've said, is very Miller.
Yeah. Subtlety is not his strong suit. Let's put it that way.
See, here's the thing. When Miller is on, it's like some of the best stuff.
Oh, it's intense. Yeah.
When he fumbles bad.
Yeah.
It's like butt fumble. That's the thing. It's a lot of times it can be kind of feast or famine with him, but the feast is so good. Dark Knight Returns, Sin City, 300.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Ronin never did much for me.
I've actually never read Ronin, believe it or not. So
not mess much.
Okay. I just feel like there's too much glossing over that happens. Like Matt loses his father. We really don't get anything of their relationship really, outside of, honestly, Matt's father comes off kind of terrible in this.
Yeah, and I think that was intentional as well, because when you think about, Matt's father is not without his flaws. And
right.
I think Miller chose to not so much emphasize them, but acknowledge them in this.
I think he emphasized them.
And like also in the, what was it? It was Joe Quesada. I can't remember who wrote it, but the Daredevil father.
That was
story,
Joe Quesada. Yeah, that was all him.
He wrote it too.
Art and writing.
It kind of explores more of the personal flaws of battling Jack Murdoch.
Sure.
Yeah, it's about, it's like we said, it's about filling in the cracks.
Yeah.
That were there in the storyline. And
I'm going to throw a flag also.
Okay.
Speaking of Battling Jack, Frank, there was no need to disparage wrestling here, buddy. Pal, did you catch that? There's a panel in the last issue, or the second to last issue, where there's a poster of Batlin Jack, where in his Jack the Devil Murdoch attire. So the movie didn't just pull that out of its butt. That actually was a thing from a panel in this book. Apparently, when Batlin Jack was getting up there before the Fixer started letting Jack win fights, Batlin Jack put on a red costume and wrestled. Pro wrestling. They don't say wrestling, but it's implied. And Matt says basically, my father did whatever he had to do to provide for me, even things that weren't that great, because he was a fighter and that's what he did. Hey, man, wrestling's an honest profession.
All right. Well.
Anyway, that's an aside.
What do you think of taking a break from the story? What do you think of Romita Jr.'s artwork?
I think it's fantastic.
Yes. I think we are kind of approaching peak Romita Jr.
I didn't want to necessarily say that, but yeah, I think so.
Approaching. His work is still good, but I think
he's still good.
What I find is his work can be character dependent. I love his Daredevil stuff. I love his Spider-Man stuff.
Love Punisher Warzone. Not crazy about his Batman stuff. No, it doesn't lend itself to it, really.
Batman has never really done anything for me.
Well, it's weird because his style doesn't really change. So it really just comes down to how do characters look in his style.
Yeah.
Batman, yeah, I feel you. Not so much, but the Marvel stuff, great. Even his Superman has certain charm to it.
Yeah,
I think.
his Superman was good. He did a run on Wolverine.
I wasn't crazy about his Wolverine run. I feel like he made Wolverine too lanky.
No, he does the like slimmer toner characters. There's a little bit of length there.
My Wolvie's stocky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a brick, yeah.
But yeah.
But no, the artwork here though, on
top shelf
point. Romita, this is some of his best work.
His Kingpin's like one of the best Kingpins out there.
Oh yeah, he makes him huge and imposing.
Not so much that, but just the face. What he does, especially with the eyes.
Yeah,
I mean, look at that.
That's heavy stuff. Yeah, Romita's artwork here is top flight.
Yeah, like his Kingpin looks at you and just sends a shiver down your spine.
Story stuff, like we've kind of poked a lot of holes in it. I mean,
it's good.
It's good, but it's just the broad strokes are just too much for me. And I don't know. Here's the thing.
This makes a good companion to Miller's Daredevil run.
Okay, and I would also say a good companion to his run. It's an interesting companion primer to the show, like you said. Yes. Because having read this again now, it's like, man, the show did all of this, but way better.
Well, the show had more time to work.
They had time, but they had nuance too, and they made nuance count. You know, and that comes with time, I guess. So they really fleshed it out. The Elektra stuff, which we're going to get to in Daredevil season 2, obviously, playing up her bad girl upbringing and all that, and her flirtation with Matt and why they were such kindred spirits and all that. That's in here in the broadest strokes possible. In the show, we're going to get to a much deeper look at it, which is great. This is kind of like it really is like a treatment, first pass, if you will, at a Daredevil movie. I feel like Frank maybe could have fleshed it out more or focused it in more. I'm not sure. And
a lot of great stuff with Stick in here.
The Stick stuff is all great.
Just this page here that the series pulled directly.
Yep.
Where Stick talking to the mysterious character in the shadows.
Yep. Verbatim, basically.
If Matt's going to be ready for the war.
And Stick here, though, he's introduced with we don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
Why? How? Who? Like I said, this book really implies that you know everything already, kind of.
Yeah.
and this is giving you like a greatest hits, filling in the blanks kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like as a standalone story, it needs to be stronger.
I like it again, but I'm a huge Miller fan, so for me, it's on the Miller scale, it's a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
On the just standard comic scale, it's like an 8 out of 10. So I think we would both recommend it if you've watched the series and you're looking to get into Daredevil comics.
It'll be familiar if you like the series.
Yeah, but definitely the Miller run, the original Miller run, you can get it in trade, is a worthwhile pickup.
This is kind of my stance or what have you. I don't know, my take on Daredevil and Frank Miller and everything. Frank Miller kind of built the Daredevil sandbox and will forever be respected for that.
It's like the pieces were there. He put everything together.
Okay. He built the sandbox. But for me, other writers built nicer sandcastles in the sandbox.
Okay. I can grant you that.
So all credit and respect due to Frank Miller, without question, and he did a lot of great work there. But
without Frank Miller, Daredevil gets canceled fairly early in its run.
Yeah. No, again, praise be unto him.
Yeah.
But for me, the once he established all that stuff, other guys picked it up and really ran with it, and they owe that to Frank Miller without question. But when it comes down to why I love Daredevil, it's not because of Frank Miller. I mean, the Bendis stuff is really where I became full-blown Daredevil obsessed. Because I just feel like the pieces were there, and other writers really got to sink their teeth in and play with them and build the Sand Palace.
I get you.
In the sandbox that Frank built.
Alrighty.
So that's my take on it.
You can get The Man Without Fear in trade fairly easily. Your local comic shop should have it. Barnes & Nobles is going to have it.
Can we address something else in this book, too?
What's that?
Matt kills some people.
Yeah.
And it's like there's the kind of half-hearted, I don't want to kill anybody monologue stuff going on. But he knocks that woman out the window when he's a kid. I didn't like that. That wasn't necessary. It does play into his character in the story, and it is like a running thing in this story. Fair enough, but that's a little much for me. And then those when the little girl gets kidnapped. Look, you kidnap a little girl and you're going to put her in a snuff film or whatever they're going to do with her. Yeah, you're going to go on a rampage. It's going to happen. But Matt willfully throws those two guys into the water and doesn't. They drown. Both of them basically drown.
Yeah.
And then he kills the assassin guy, straight up. He hits the bullet back at him, right between the eyes. And we're supposed to be okay with that. I don't know, man. That's not Matt.
It's Frank Miller saying that Matt has walked a path, and the path that he walked early on led him to the decision that he will, not kill from this point on.
Yeah.
Is it the best way to?
That's the Man of Steel defense, dude, and that's not jiving
necessarily.
For me.
Well, it's just two completely different characters and two completely different worlds.
But the argument's the same.
I think I understand your point. I don't mind it as much as you do because he ultimately becomes the character that we know him to be.
Yeah.
That's the old thing about the Marvel superheroes is they're flawed.
They're flawed.
this is one of the mistakes that Matt made, and he learned from it. He got better.
Yeah, I don't know that I want Matt having blood on his hands like that, but here we are.
Yeah,
that's Frank's job.
Frank kills people. You don't have a problem with that.
No, that's what he do.
All right, folks, we appreciate you hanging with us through. I'm guessing it's probably going to be our longest episode to date.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
It was a good one, though. It was a good one. We had a good time. Talked about some stuff. Shared some emotions. You lend me a feeling. I loaned you a couple of.
Can you borrow a feeling? Is that what you're asking?
Hurt hearts need some healing. They could take our hand with their glove of love.
Carl, do you sleep in a race car bed?
No, I sleep in a bed with my wife.
Nice.
Oh, speaking of race car beds. Speaking of race car beds, we'll close out with this. Race car beds have stepped up their game.
Oh?
Because, when you think of a race car bed, you think of the classic red, Little Tykes race car bed.
I think of The Simpsons. That's what I think of.
Yeah, okay. So, Julie and I are out this past weekend with William at Babies R Us, and this is what race car beds are now. That's a Corvette.
They're branded.
That's a Chevy Corvette.
Are you saying you want to sleep in that bed?
Yes! I don't care what kids should have all the fun. All right. That being said, folks, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for listening to us again. Please, please, please get the word out about the show. We appreciate those of you who retweet and share our new episode announcements. We could use a lot more of that. We really appreciate it if you do. It's a very simple thing. Just go on, hit a single button. Not asking a lot. Just hit a single button. If you're feeling real generous, leave us a review on iTunes. Those help. And if you'd like to send us any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can do so at the following social media outlets. You can follow us on Twitter at DevilsDoPod. You can go to Facebook.com/DevilsDoPod. You can email us at TheDevilsDoPod@gmail.com. Or you can find all these resources at TheDevilsDoPodcast.com. Drew, any parting thoughts?
No. I'm good. I'm looking forward to Daredevil Season 2, especially now having read Man Without Fear again. The Elektra stuff especially, I'm very curious to see that again.
Yes.
Because I enjoyed it a lot in the show.
Alrighty. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, court is adjourned.